Here we go. Once again, for a foolish name of Esther Bas Chaya Rivka and Menachem Mordechai Ben Ophira, and we're doing Parsha Vayishlach, a fascinating Parsha which has so much for all of Klal Yisrael in it on a regular basis. But we're going to start with some very interesting things. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the Parsha itself. And we're going to take a look at some of the words in the Parsha at the very beginning, right here. Okay, so here we have the first Shiur, which is, of course, not the one that I wanted, but we'll get to we'll get to the one that I wanted in a moment. Okay, just move this out of the way. Okay, take it down a peg. All right. We're going to go to the first Shiur right here. Hold on. All right. You all see this? Vayishlach, here we go. You see the little black part? Parshas Vayishlach, here we are. We're starting with Parshas Vayishlach tonight, of course. And we're going to be following it along a little bit, okay? So let's start from the beginning. So Vayishlach Yaakov sends messengers, some say angels, to Esav, his brother, to the land of Seir, his field of Edom. He commands them, saying, Ko somrun la donila Esav. This is what you should say to my master Esav. Ko. This is a little. We're going to have to small this down just a drop so that we can see it better. Okay, here we will see it better. Ko somrun la donila Esav. Ko omar avdecho Yaakov. This is what your servant Yaakov said. Im Lavan garti. With Lavan I lived. And I stayed there till now. If you see the Parsha video, you're going to know on the Parsha video, we speak about Im Lavan Garti. I lived with Lavan and I kept all 613 mitzvahs. There are some questions that are asked. One of them being, what do you mean he kept all the mitzvahs? Wasn't he not home and he couldn't fulfill Kibbud Av Ve'em? So how do you say he kept all 613 mitzvahs? That's one interesting question. That's not what we spoke about in the Parsha video, but that's an interesting question. The answer is really quite simple. He was exactly fulfilling Kibbud Av Ve'em because his parents told him to go to Lavan. They told him to go. And every second that he's there, he's fulfilling the wishes of his parents. Yaakov was fulfilling the mitzvah of Kibbud Av Ve'em at that time. And he stayed there until this time. And while he was with Lavan, he didn't forget, and he says, "V'tayag mitzvos shamar im Lavan garti." We emphasize once again. We emphasize the word garti right here. We emphasize the word garti because when you look at the word garti, you see that it has the letters of Tuf Resh Yud Gimel, which is Taryag, 613 mitzvahs, and the Rashi says, "V'taryag mitzvos shamarti," and I guarded all 613 mitzvahs. Now, the fact of the matter is that all of us know that it's impossible for any one of us to possibly do all 613 mitzvahs. There are some mitzvahs that are only applicable to men, some only applicable to women, some that are only applicable to a Kohen, some only applicable to a Levi, some only applicable to people who own land in Eretz Yisrael, and some people who they're only applicable to husbands and wives. So there are so many different mitzvahs that are impossible for us to fulfill. How can one say that I kept all 613 mitzvahs? So this is a hashkafa concept that all of us have to keep in mind. And that is that as long as we are devoted to keeping the mitzvahs that we can, that come our way, we don't have 613 mitzvahs on a regular basis. We don't have the mitzvah of leket shikha and peah when it comes to leaving the harvest over from the field. We don't in Chutz La'aretz don't have any connection with Shemitah, and even in Eretz Yisrael, the connection with Shemitah is only on a midrabanan level in these days and age. So it's not even applicable on the oraisa level, and therefore, when we say B'tzayag mitzvah shamarti, it means I am committed to keeping all the mitzvahs that I can. I'm a shomer mitzvos. I'm a shomer Torah u'mitzvah. Shomer means I'm guarding something. I'm watching out for it. I'm protecting it. We have to say to ourselves, I am a shomer mitzvahs. And I have every intention of guarding, not just keeping, guarding. Shomer Shabbos doesn't only mean keeping Shabbos. Shomer Shabbos means I'm guarding the Shabbos. When we guard something, we build fences around it. We protect it. We watch over it carefully. And we are Shomer Torah u'mitzvahs. And Yaakov was saying that he was living with Lavan, even though he couldn't keep at that time all 680 mitzvahs. He wasn't even in Eretz Yisrael, but he was the Taryag mitzvah shamarti. I guarded them. I was the Shomer Torah u'mitzvahs. Okay, let's go a little further. And it says, he got much wealth over there and all the time. And now we come to Pasuk Ches. Okay? Vayira Yaakov ma'od vayetzer lo. And Yaakov was very afraid, and he was distressed. He was afraid and he was distressed. And I'm going to enlarge this for a moment. Then I'm going to shrink it, and we're going to go to another share right here. We're going to see the Rashi right here. Here it is. Take a look. You see this blue at the end over here? Let me make this a little smaller so that we can see the whole thing. Okay. All right. You see this? Vayetzer, Vayira, Vayetzer. This is the Rashi on that pasuk. Okay. Hey, by the way, we're doing pretty good today with the switching on the shares. Let's hope it continues that way. Vayira, Vayetzer, says Rashi, Vayira Shema Yehoreg. Okay. He was very afraid that when he meets Esav, he may be killed. Yaakov was afraid. He didn't know what Esav's reaction was, because he knew that in last week's Sedra, Esav said, I can't wait for my father to die so I can kill my brother. He had every intention of killing him. So the pasuk says, Vayira Vayetzer. Let's just underline the Vayira over here at this point. Vayira, says Rashi, Vayira Shema Yehoreg. He was afraid he would be killed. Vayetzer lo. So what does Vayetzer lo mean? Vayira means he was afraid. Vayetzer means he was distressed. What did it mean when he said he was distressed? Im yarog hu es achirim. He was distressed that I may come to the point that I may kill others. Even in self-defense, it would be very distressing for me to do that. I don't know how many of you remember this, but it's stuck in my mind. Way back, when Golda Meir was the prime minister of Israel, and she spoke about the war that they had, the Yom Kippur War. And she spoke about the fact that she could forgive the Arabs for a lot of things, but she can't forgive them for turning our good Jewish sons into soldiers who murdered the enemy. I can't forgive them for turning the soul of the Jew who goes to war into a war machine. Yaakov Avinu is the paradigm of the father who said this. He was afraid to get killed. We're all afraid to get killed. But we not only have to be afraid to harm others, we not only have to be afraid to harm ourselves, harm ourselves. We always in life have to be afraid lest we harm someone else. How distressing is it for a person who, God forbid, is driving a car and injures someone in an accident? How terrible we would feel, even if it's just a broken leg, let alone if, God forbid, we took a life. How distressed we'd have to be. How careful we have to be. Can you imagine if we owned a lot of stock in a tobacco company and we knew that the money we're making on the tobacco is causing the death of innocent people, it bothers us. It would bother us. We are not interested in harming others. So Yaakov, when he has to meet Esau and he has to defend his life, one of the issues is, I don't want to be killed, but I don't want to harm others either. I don't want to do harm to anyone. Right? A doctor's oath, the Igeris Rambam, about the Rofim. We should, God forbid, not harm anyone. Even when we learn Gemara at the beginning, it says that I shalo akoshel b'halacha. I shouldn't make a mistake in saying a wrong halacha or misinterpreting parts of the Torah, because that's harmful to others. We're not just worried about ourselves. We're concerned about others. And this is Yaakov Avinu, that Vayira Vayetzer. He was afraid and he was also upset. We're going to go back one pasuk, and we're going to pasuk Zion here. And in pasuk Zion, I'm going to highlight that right over here. Okay. In pasuk Zion, the pasuk says, "Banu Elochicha El Esav." You all see it here on this line, the blue. Banu Elochicha El Esav. We came to your brother to Esav. Now, we are going to see another place in a moment where these words come together. We've come to your brother to Esav. First of all, this is redundant. If it says we've come to your brother, we know that Yaakov only had one brother, and that was Esav. And then it says, we came to your brother to Esav. We don't have to mention, if we mention Esav, we don't need Achicha. If we mention Achicha, we don't need Esav. Why does it say it both? So Rashi answers the question. He says, why? Shehayisa Omer, because you said, Achiyu. You, Yaakov, called him your brother. Aval, who know Hegimach, but he is behaving with you to Esav Harasha, like Esav the wicked, Odenu Besinaso, still filled with his hatred. So we have this issue of Banu Elochicha El Esav. We've come to your brother to Esav, and that means that he was my brother, and we act together as brothers, but in a sense, he's still Esav, and that's injurious to me, and I have to be careful about this. And sure enough, if we go a little further, and we're going to go back to our previous share, we'll come right back to this later on, but I want to go back to the previous share. I'm going to enlarge this for a moment, then we're going to shrink it again, and we're going to come right back to the other share. We're going to go back to the original, and we're going to see over here, okay, that later on in the Sedja, we're going to skip a little ahead and then come back. We're going to come back a little bit more, okay? And we're going to see a statement of Yaakov right over here. We're right over here. We're going to see it in a moment. I'm going to shrink this down just a little bit so we can see the whole thing, okay? Yaakov is talking over here. We're going to go to Pasuk Yud, okay? And we're gonna go to Pasuk Yud over here. Okay. Vayoma Yaakov, and Yaakov says, Elokei Avi Avraham, Elokei Avi Yitzchak, the God of my father Avram, God of Yitzchak, Hashem Ha'omer Elai, the one who said to me, Shuv La'atzcho L'Molaretcho, go back, to your land. V'Eitiva Imach, I'm going to do good with you. Katonti Mikol HaChasadim uMikol HaEmes. I am small from all the kindnesses and all the truth. Asher Asisa Esavdecha. He's talking to God. Yaakov is talking to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Okay? And he's saying over here, right, at the beginning of Parsha's Vayishlach, he's saying, we'll get to that pasuk in a minute. We're almost there. I'm small from all the kindness you did me. Because with my staff, when I crossed the Yarden, I had nothing more than a stick with me, right? And now I've become two separate camps. And here comes the crux. Pasuk Yud Beis. Okay. Hatzileni no miyad ochi miyad Esav. Here it is again. Let's see this pasuk a little bit better. Okay. Let's analyze it step by step. Okay, let's go back and see if I can get this lined up a little bit better. Okay. Hatzileni na miyad achi miyad Esav. Save me from the hand of my brother, from the hand of Esav. Again, same thing again. From the hand of my brother, from the hand of Esav. Again, Esav, he's not behaving to me like a brother. Achi, he is behaving to me like a brother. Yaakov is worried about both. Hatzileni no miyad achi. Save me from the hand of my brother. Miyad Esav. Again, we don't need both. It could have just said one. But nevertheless, Yaakov mentions them both. And he says the reason is, Ki yorei anochi osav. Because I'm worried about him. I'm afraid of him. Who is he afraid of? He's afraid of both. He's afraid of the brother and he's afraid of Esav. If it's Esav and he comes at me with a sword, I know how to react with him. But what do I do when he puts his arm around me and he says, I love you, I'm your brother, and then stabs you in the back? I have to be concerned about when he's my brother. And even if he doesn't stab me in the back, if he becomes my brother and I look at him in a positive way and I start to learn from him and copy from him and I become like him, I've got to be concerned. So Yaakov says, save me from the hand of my brother, from the hand of Esav. I got to be safe from both. I want to stop this share for a moment and go to another one. And let's see if we can get this unbelievable picture in a moment. If we can get this, we're going to stop this share. We'll try to come back to this. I want to make sure I don't lose it. So I'm going to enlarge it and shrink it down. And then I'm going to stop the share and try to get the next share that I want right over here. Let's see if we can get it. 1 second. Let's see if we can get it. Okay. You see the picture?
No.
No? Okay. Let's see if we can get this picture here. Let's see if we can get this picture here. I want to get this picture here. Hold on. Wait a second. Let's go back to our home screen. Go to share once again. Now we're going to get it. Here we go. Here comes this picture. Don't jump out of your seats. Okay. You see this?
Okay, yeah.
You see the picture?
Yeah.
Okay, you know who this is?
Begin and
This is Anwar Sadat and
yeah.
Our friend Menachem Begin, Zechron Levrach, right?
Yeah.
This is by the Camp David Accords.
Right.
Do you know what week Sadat and Begin met? In 1976, was it?
I don't know.
77, 76?
So.
It was Parsha's Vayishlach.
Oh, right.
It was November. Parsha's Vayishlach. Look it up. Okay?
Yeah.
Menachem Begin went to Rav Moshe Feinstein. He went to the yeshiva to see Rav Moshe Feinstein before he met with Sadat. And he asked his advice. How should I prepare for this meeting? And the Rosh Yeshiva said to him, read Parshas Vayishlach. Study it well, because that's the meeting of Yaakov and Esav. We're going to learn a little bit more at the end. We'll try to get to a section in this week's Hedge in which Yaakov is fighting with the guardian angel, so to speak, of Esav, and he gives him the name Yisrael because he couldn't destroy him. This is the picture that was in the newspaper, in Time magazine. Now you see this picture, don't you?
Yeah. There's something about Sadat's
November 20,
car.
1977.
Maya Roth hit it on the head. Tell him, Maya.
It looks like the Nazi symbol on Sadat's tie.
Do you see that?
Oh, wow, yeah. Wow,
Do you see that?
yeah.
This is at the Camp David Accords. Why was he wearing that tie? On purpose. On purpose. This is not a haphazard thing. He knew exactly what he was doing. And look at that. Hatzileni no miyad achim, miyad Esau. Ki yarei anochi oso. Does Menachem Begin look peaceful over here? Does Menachem Begin look like he's calm and happy? Oh, no.
Oh, no.
He knows that tie. He knows that symbol. He fought that symbol. He survived that. And Sadat meant everything he thought that tie said. It's an amazing, amazing thing. Don't ever forget this.
Yeah,
What did
so-
you mean? What do you mean when you wore this tie with the swastika? What did you mean?
I'm a Nazi. That's what he meant.
No, really?
You don't think so, huh? He didn't mean
You
to
can't
say-
trust him. That's what.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's exactly what he meant. I want you to know the Nazis did a job on you, and I didn't forget it. And look at that tie, and that's unbelievable. To wear that to a peace conference,
Good school.
it's amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, Rabbi, Sunday, November 20th, 1977, Parsha Vayishlach.
Right. Parsha Vayishlach, 100%.
Yeah.
I know that. Okay. So this is it, Rabbi Say. This is it. And if you think it doesn't mean anything, heads of state know that every single gesture speaks volumes. That tie says a lot. And that's that worried look on Menachem Begin's face. Because he's got to look at that. And Sadat was giving it to him right then and there. And any Jew who saw that picture stepped back and said, I can't believe it. How could he do that? Esav Sone Liyaakov. Sorry, I had to bring this up, but you have to know.
Okay, you made a point.
Okay.
I just want to know, what is the shock? What's so shocking about it?
Oh,
Hey, he's a guy. He's an anti-Smith.
Okay.
But-
But he made a peace deal with him.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Okay. It's
he
open.
would
for
step us
discussion.
in the back if he had the chance.
Okay, it's open for discussion. Okay,
Let go.
there we go. It's open for discussion. Okay. All right, we're now gonna go back to our screen share. Let's see if we can get back our screen share.
I don't need, I shouldn't have come.
Why not?
Here we go. Let's go back to our screen share. Okay.
You want coffee?
Screen share.
Yeah, I have milk. I don't have decaf.
All right, here we go. All right, we're back to our screen share. Okay. I want to go back. I want to go further for a little bit. Okay. Let's go down a little bit.
See the donuts.
If there's talking, please mute yourself, okay? Don't talk while this is going on. Okay, here we go. We are now going to Pasuk Chaf Ches, Chaf Hey, over here, right here. You see it highlighted? There we
Yeah.
go. I'm gonna make it a little small so we can see the whole Pasuk. Oops. Here it is. Okay. Vayivoser Yaakov Levado. What happened here is that he gives a present to Esau. By the way, it's an important Rashi a little bit in the beginning of the subject that Yaakov prepared for a number of things. He gave a gift to prepare for peace, right? And he split the camp so that he could prepare for war, and he davened. All right. It's interesting that the order that he set it up with was first he prepared for peace, then he prepared for war, and then he davened, because davening is crucial in order for us to be successful. But you take practical measures, and then you daven and hope that the practical measures will come to fruition. So he prepared for peace, practically. He prepared for war, practically. And then he davened that both the peace and the war should be successful. And here it says, Vayivoser Yaakov Levado. Okay. Let's go to the pasuk before this, actually. Okay, let's go to the pasuk right before this. Okay. All right. Vayikochem Yaakov took them. Vayavirei mesanachal. He went over the brook. Vayaver es asher lo. And he took over on the other side of the brook, the little stream, everything that was his. Then it says, now at the next person, Vayivose Yaakov. I forgot to get this there. Get out of it. Get out of it. I forgot to turn the phone off. Okay. Sorry about that. That's what happens when you forget to turn the phone off. All right. Vayivaser Yaakov levado, and Yaakov remained alone. All right. Now here it says first that he took over everything that was his. Then it says Vayivaser Yaakov levado, and Yaakov remained alone. Vayeyavek ishimo, and a man wrestled with him ad alos hashachar, until the morning star came up. There are a number of questions here. Question number one, why did he remain alone? Why did he remain alone? I thought he took everything on the other side, so he was with all the family. And then it says he remained alone. And then a man was struggling with him until the morning star came up. So what we want to do is, we want to go to the Rashi and see what's going on over here. So we're going to take a look at the Rashi by making this a little smaller and going to the Rashi share right over here. Okay. Here's the Rashi share. Okay, we're going to narrow this down just a little bit so that we can all see the entire thing. Okay. So it says, Vayivasa Yaakov livado, Vayayovek ish imo. And here it is. Here's the pasuk. Here's the Rashi right here. Okay, right here. Vayivasa Yaakov. Yaakov remained alone. And a man wrestled with him. We know from Chazal that the wrestling that took place over here was the wrestling of Yaakov with the Sar Shel Esav. He was wrestling and trying to overcome the evil that Esav was plotting against him. And Rashi, however, he says, no, that's not the reason. Rashi says, why did he remain alone, says Rashi? Shachach hachim ktanim. He forgot some small jars. V'chozar aleihem. And he went back to get them. He forgot some small jars. So he went back to get them. Can you imagine if you were moving from the United States to Eretz Yisrael and you got to the airport where you packed up your whole family's everything. And then you get to the airport, you say, wait, hold the plane. I left some small jars at home. I got to go back and get the small jars. Can you imagine such a scenario? Yaakov is at the biggest battle of his life, and he's going back for small jars. Okay, so we have to offer some explanations. I'm going to give you two. One is a rather interesting, with a little bit of a story attached to it. Rav Yaakov Kamenetsky Zal once picked up his wife from the hospital, his first wife. She was never sick. This goes way back. And before she passed away, she was very sick. And she was coming home from the hospital. And Rav Yaakov went with his son to pick up his wife and his son's mother from the hospital. They got into the taxi and they were about to depart and go home when Rav Yaakov said to the driver, can you wait just another moment? I forgot something upstairs. And he whispered something to his wife, and she said, yes, go. And he went up to the room, and his son said, what do you have to go up? We took everything. I made sure we got everything. We didn't leave anything behind. Rav Yaakov said, no, I'll be back soon. And he went up, and his son followed him, and he went up to the room, and he knocked on the door, and there was another person in the room, and there was the orderly who took care of the room was making the bed for the next patient to come in. And the orderly said, "Oh, Rabbi, there's nothing here of yours. We checked everything. There's nothing left over." He said, "No, I forgot something." And he goes over to the other lady who was in the other bed, and he said, "I'm sorry. I walked out without wishing you a refuah shalema, that God should watch over you and make you heal."
Wow.
He forgot a little thank you, a little refuah shalema. You know what's important sometimes? Looks like just a little jar, but to another person, that can end up being a really, really big thing. You don't know sometimes how a small gesture can make a tremendous impact on a human being. And consequently, it's possible that that's one of the things we can learn of Shochach Pachim Ktanim. He forgot some small jars. But let's give another analysis. I think that Rashi is hinting here to something very profound. It says, Vayivasa Yaakov Levado. Yaakov remained alone. We know that he's about to enter into the battle for his life. He's going to be battling with the master of Esau. He's soon going to be getting a new name because he's able to overcome the Sar Shel Esau that wants to injure him. Esau wants to destroy him. He's incapable of destroying him, but he is capable of injuring him. And Yaakov is worried about this. He's been fearful about what Esau is going to do to him when they finally get together for a long time, because Esau had pledged to kill him. You can be rest assured that when someone is fighting for the battle of his life and he's thinking to himself, you know, I did deserve the brachos. They were supposed to be mine. Esau wanted to trick me and take it away from me even after he sold it to me. I rightfully got it back. And then he said he wants to come in. Maybe I overdid it. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I shouldn't be fighting with my enemy. Maybe I should give in. Do you know how many times in the state of Israel's existence since 1948, different prime ministers and leaders, which has changed hands from the right to the left, to the center, to the left, to the right, how many have said, let's just give the Arabs what they want? Why don't you make peace already? What, you're worried about a wall? You're worried about a Jewish state? So it'll be a state for all people, like the United States of America. It'll be the United States of Israel, and everybody will have a share. What do you have to make such a big deal about everything? Why don't you just give it? Forget the Holocaust. It's over. Yeah, we're not fighting old battles. You know how many times we hear this? You know how we hear this? Because there's a lack of something. What is lacking? I'll tell you what's lacking. What's lacking is pachim ketanim, small jars. One small jar. One little tiny jar. Abosai. We're 2 weeks away, even less, where they tried to destroy every single jar of pure oil that existed in the Beis Hamikdash. They tried to destroy every purity that existed amongst the Jewish people. And the truth is that the Jews could have lit the menorah without pure oil, because Tumah hutra b'tzibur, because Tumah is permitted when everybody is Tumah. But they didn't want to do that. They searched for that little pach hatan of shemen. They looked for the little jar of oil with which to light the menorah, so that it be in purity. Yaakov went back, and he was worried. Should I be fighting with him? Should I maybe give in? He said, no. Shochach pachim ketanim. He forgot the small jars. He forgot the idea of the small jar of oil that in the future would stand up for his children. And v'chazar aleihem. He went back after those jars, and he taught us a lesson. No Jew should ever forget the miracle of Hanukkah, the victory over the few over the many, the victory of the righteous over the wicked, the victory of the pure over the impure. We should never forget those small jars. And that's why this is so significant. Because Yaakov was concerned, what do I do? Should I give in? Oh no. Oh no. He remained alone. Because he went back for those pachin katana, because I'm not giving in. Because I have a responsibility to not give in on those small jars. We're going to take a break from this one. We're going to come right back with the next share, and I'm going to show you something very, very interesting right now. Here we go. Share number 3. Gemara Chulin. Okay. Let's see if we got the right spot over here. All right. What daf is this? Sadak Aleph, Amud Aleph. Here we go. Okay. All right. Interesting. If you'll take a look over here, in this Gemara, there is a discussion, right? What's the discussion? The discussion is about who Yaakov was fighting with. Take a look over here, okay? I can't highlight it actually because my highlighter doesn't work on this particular top. But I'm going to show you what it says anyway, all right? And I'll try to, you'll follow my hand over here, okay? You'll follow my hand over here. And we're going to see the following, okay? Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi Omar, Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi says, Omar, the pasuk says, Behei of Ko Imo, when the Sar Shel Esav was fighting with him, says the Gemara, Ka'adam shechovek es chaveiro. It's like somebody who's grabbing the other person and so on and so forth. Now watch this. Rabbi Shmuel bar Nachmani Omar, Rabbi Shmuel bar Nachmani says, Ke'oved kochavim nidmelo. He appeared to him like an idol worshiper. You see this? When Yaakov was fighting with this person, he appeared to him as if he was an idol worshiper. Okay? That's what he said, right? We're going to see in a moment, all right, that there's another opinion here, which says, well, here it says he appeared to him like an Oved Kochavim. Where is the other one? The other one's on this stuff too. It says that he appeared to him like a Talmud Chacham. 1 second. We'll get it in a moment. Oved Kochavim did Melo. It appeared to him like an Oved Kochavim, and where is it? It's right down here somewhere. Whoop. I had it a moment ago, and now I seem to have lost it. But it says over here that he appeared like a Talmud Chacham. In the other, it's on this page somewhere. I just got to find it. The first one, it said that he appeared to him like an Oved Kochavim did Melo, and here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Papa Mishnei de Rava Bar Ula Omar Ketalmud Chacham Nidbelo. That the one he was fighting with looked like a Talmud Chacham. Look at that on one page in the Gemara on Daf Sadak Aleph and Chulin. In one page it says he appeared to him like an Oved Kochavim. In the other opinion, he appeared to him like a Talmud Chacham, like a Talmud Chacham. Wait a minute. How could somebody's talking, please? You have to mute yourself, please. Thank you. How could it be that he appeared as both a Talmud Chacham and as an Oved Kochavim? Wait a minute. Didn't we open the Shiur with the famous words of the pasuk? Hatzileni no miyad achi miyad Esav. Save me from the hand of my brother, from the hand of Esav, right? Esav is a dual personality. And we've got to watch out for both of them. Because sometimes if a person appears to you like a Talmid Chacham, he may not really be one. How does he behave? What are his actions? What does he do? They tell the story about Rabbi Vayishlach from the Slonim Hasidim that he once met one of the maskilim who didn't believe in God, but knew a lot of scripture. And he started quoting psukim left and right. And Rabbi Vayishlach said, I never understood this Gemara, that how could one person be both a Talmid Chacham and at the same time be someone who's an Oved Kachavim? But now I see it. It's unbelievable. You know so much. And yet you don't believe in Hashem, you believe in Oved Kachavim. You don't believe in God, you believe in something. So you believe in idols. How could it be? The Gemara says that's exactly what Yaakov was wrestling with. And that's what the Jewish people wrestle with throughout their existence. We wrestle with living in an alien environment, constantly surrounded by others, unfortunately, many times, who wish to do us in, and we don't realize how dangerous it could be. While at the same time, we try to maintain our dignity and our special quality of awareness of what Klal Yisrael is all about. So we're gonna stop the screen share now. We're gonna get back to our overview with all the participants. Baruch Hashem, everybody who joined with us, we appreciate it. But our shiur today focused on these particular ideas. The ideas that when Yaakov meets Esav, and we saw that frightening picture of the tie of Anwar Sadat when he met Menachem Begin, which should give us much pause about peace talks amongst the Jews and those who are surrounding them. We have to constantly be vigilant and aware of the fact that if we're not careful, we can easily fall into the trap that has been set. Because ultimately, Esav sonei Yaakov, and we need to recognize that exists. There is a pasuk in this week's Sedra that says that when Esav met Yaakov, he hugged him and kissed him. And in fact, there's an opinion in the Rashi which says that his mercy welled up in him. There are times in the history of the Jewish people where the non-Jewish world has some feelings of mercy for the Jewish people. The Gemara quotes cases where there was a Matrenusa who was a matron who was friendly with the Romans, who said to the Jewish people, make a demonstration outside the government offices tonight, I'm going to be there, and let them hear, aren't we the same as you? Aren't we human beings too? Don't you have any pity on us? Why do you pick on us? What have we done different in our lives than you? We've never harmed anybody. And she was able to say to the officers, yes, well, answer that. Do you have an answer for that? And they didn't. So things were peaceful for a while. And the fact is that in the United States of America, probably the greatest gullus that the Jewish people have ever been in, we do have it maybe too good, but very, very good here in the United States of America for the Jewish people. It's a wonderful existence where we can learn Torah. Yeshivas are spreading left and right, and yet, every one of us knows that at the drop of a hat, the specter of the ugliness of rabid anti-Semitism is not too far away and lurking in the shadows. And we have to be aware of these things. So when Yaakov says, Hatzileni no miyad achi miyad Esav, save me from the hand of my brother, from the hand of Esav, Yaakov is giving us Maaseh Avos Siman Labanim. The deeds of the fathers are signs to the children. And what we have to do is keep these things in mind, never to forget them, to keep our thoughts on the possibilities, while thanking Hashem on a constant basis for giving us the opportunity to be in such a gullus that enables us freely to learn, embrace, live, and love the Torah in such a way that gives the Jewish people hope for the future. Hope for the future. And hope for the future of Klal Yisrael and Eretz Yisrael too. So this week's Parsha is really very, very significant for all of us. It's extremely significant, and we thank Hashem for giving us the insights that helps the Klal Yisrael to continue to exist despite all the pressures that come upon us. Any questions before we say the Shabbos?
Rabbi, a terrific share. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Actually, I'll pay you later. Thank you.
Okay, tomorrow's okay.
You've always, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for your
Take care,
positive.
guys. Good
Okay.
Shabbos.
Shabbat shalom, everybody. Good
Shabbat
Shabbos,
shalom.
everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
Have a wonderful
Yeah,
Shabbos.
Shabbos.
Thank you.
Tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock.
Tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Daf Yomi, and it's on Zoom. It's on Zoom. Shabbos, Ilan. Good Shabbos. Good Shabbos, everyone.
Shabbos, Shabbos.
Good Shabbos. Good Shabbos. Good Shabbos.
Shabbos,
Good Shabbos. Good Shabbos.
Shabbos, Mark.
Shabbos.